Hi, this is Cheryl of Majestic Wire Artworks. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make this coiled heart necklace or bracelet. And all that takes is how long the chain you make, and it turns into a bracelet. So, as usual, I have your supply list in the description. And let's begin. So I need you to take your 20 gauge wire and your 26 gauge wire to do your coiling, and we're going to start just by doing one wrap and putting it together like that near the end because it makes it easier to coil at the end. And we'll move it to the center of the wire later on. We'll slide it on over. So the first thing you need to know about coiling, if you've never done it before, is you need to make it so it's not too far apart. And you need to cinch it up on both sides on a fairly regular basis. I usually do about 10 wraps. The first time I do about 5 or 6. And if you can get wrapped really close like I am here, it makes it easier. Okay, see, now I'm getting further apart. I'm going to push it together, both sides. Okay, and I'm going to get you to continue doing your coiling until you have a 2-inch length. You can do it slightly less if you want a smaller heart. I've done it with a little bit less too, but for teaching you, I want to do 2 inches because it makes a little bit bigger heart and it makes it a little bit easier to work with. Okay, so I'll check back with you and you should have your coiling done. Hi, I'm back and I've got my coiling done. Now, if you found that the beginning of your coiling was messy, which it tends to do, on purpose, make your length a little bit too long, and it might have been already, and just unravel the beginning until it's nice and neat. And then if it's not 2 inches, then you can add more. Okay, so you got your 2 inches. The next step is to snip off your coiling wire, the 26 gauge, as close as you can. Okay, and then crimp them in. See if I can see the end here. Okay, there it is. It's pretty good. Don't feel anything there, and don't feel anything there. Okay, so the next thing to do is to take the ends of your 20 gauge wire and try and find around the center and slide your coiling to approximately the center of the wire. There, that's close enough. And now I want you to try and, we're going to be folding it in half, match the ends of the coiling as best you can, like that, and then kind of push it together with your fingers and do it going upwards so that we have almost the center point right there, and then take your chain nose plier and gently squeeze that so that we don't really mar it there, but that should be good. It doesn't have to be totally tight like some of my folds that I do. Okay, and now I want you to pull it apart like this. Okay, and take your round nose pliers and at the largest point make use the pliers to shape. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're not, this isn't our final shaping tool because it's too small. But it gives us the beginnings. See, I don't even have them equal and it doesn't matter. And now what I've used for mandrel is a fat pen that has a variation in size here. And so I'm asking you, I should get rid of the ink, to kind of slide it and make it a little bit larger. Okay, like that. And you're going to play around with it through the camera. It's harder for me to really judge what I'm doing. So we want a similar shape, and don't feel threatened by this. Some people do. Just relax and play with it, because when you have, I don't know if anybody's explained this to you, but if you have a wire with other wires wrapped around it, it gives you tensions from the different wires pulling different ways. So it's so much easier to manipulate that wire because of it. Now, just a wire like this, it will kink up on you. But when you've got a coil, it's way more forgiving because you've got those tensions pulling in different ways. Now, I want the left wire on top when you're crisscrossing, so bear that in mind. I'm hoping you watch the video first before you try this. Okay, so it's not a perfect heart. We're still working at it. Oops. So I'm going to pull this down a little bit. Matches it a little bit more. Okay, the top part looks much better, and now I'm gonna gently straighten the bottom part of this heart. Okay, it's getting there, guys. There, I'm good with that. So if you still need more time to make your heart, just pause the video, and join me when you're ready. Okay? Now, I'm guessing you're ready. So I've asked you to cross the left wire on top. And the first step we're going to do is we're going to, in my left hand, I am going to hold the heart together. And I'm going to bend this over like this. So it's bending right over itself. And this moved, of course. And I'm going to pull that tight into place. I mean, like the coil back up. And bend it, and that kind of locks it into place. And then do a tight curve around, and your heart may misshape a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't. If it does, at this point would be good to straighten it out. It's not too bad. It did a little bit here, because that part is what has the biggest tension, I think. Okay. So it's fixed. So now this was the last wire that we bent. Now we're going to take this wire and bend it around the bottom wire there. And again, as tight as possible. Hopefully we don't distort the heart. Okay. And now we're going to take this wire and wrap it around again. Okay, so that they look, got a nice rosette at the bottom, and then spreading apart here, and we've got it going towards the top right hand curve of the heart. Okay, at this point, you're going to take your 6mm bead. I've got a beautiful little sodalite, and it's going in the bottom of the 2 wires, so as I can find the hole. There we go. I can really tell my lighting's off with the sodalite because it doesn't show off the beautiful blue it is. Okay, so we want it there. Now, this is a, you know, when you buy 6mm beads, they have different sizes. I'd say this one's a little bit big here. You could, maybe a 5mm, maybe this is a 7mm. Let me double check here just for your reference. Oh, it is 6. So a 5mm bead would probably fit the best in this heart. And if you're making your heart a little smaller, you might want to go down to a 4mm. So that's all personal choice. So I'm going to leave it with this sodalite because that's what I had planned. And we're taking, I didn't explain what I was doing, sorry. We're taking, okay, so the downside wire, we put the bead on. Now we're taking the upper wire and we're going to give it a frame by carefully wrapping around. And if it's too loose, I mean tight, then you got to push it down so it really shapes around the bead nicely. So we've gone full circle there, but we want it to go even more. We want to match it up with this wire because at this point, see how I've got it, where I've got a little space there? You want that, and we're going to make a loop, grabbing the 2 of them, like that. Push it down. Okay, and like that. Now it's going to look, everyone is slightly different. I'll grab my other one. It had a tighter one. I wanted a looser loop. It just looks a little bit prettier, more lacy. Okay. Now this is going to be a little bit harder to put the infinity link on, so I'm going to have it come up here. You can make your own decisions on what bead you use and how it turns out. Some I have wrapped down there to leave it totally open here. Others I have wrapped like this one where it's more in the center there. And this one I'm going to wrap up there. So I'm folding it, holding it in place where I want it, folding it over the edge. Okay, so it's going to give a nice space there for the infinity link to hook onto, whether you want to make it a bracelet or a necklace. And now what I want to do is I want to snip it about here and then curve it down into the other wire work so that it doesn't catch on anything. So we're going to snip it. I'd rather go too long than too short because we can always shorten it. Okay, now I'm taking my chain nose pliers and curving the end. I probably made it a little long. There, I dipped them into those other wires and now they can't catch on anything there. I might want to push them in a little bit further, gently, it's not tomorrow. There, how does that look? Okay, and so now the infinity links, you could either have one just going from here and onto a chain, but I prefer it when you have two, one on this side and one on that side. And what I do is I make a normal size loop here that I do for an earring, ear wire. And this one is, this loop is about halfway up my shank of my round nose pliers. So it's, see, halfway. And then this one was my favorite size loop right there. Okay, and then you just put the bigger of the two loops on the heart itself. And I like using infinity links instead of just the circular links, because that way a chain can't slip through, because the pressure point is, there's no opening there, it's in the center. So chains don't fall off as easily, and things don't get lost as easily. So that one's going there, and you attach your chain onto there, whichever length you chose to do. And then I'll put the other infinity link on the other side. There. So again, this is work hardened wire. It's been work hardened so that it's very durable. Okay, and it is done. So again, when you wear your heart like this, it balances itself, so it's pretty straight, even though it forces it to the position here. It's still, if you notice, it kind of keeps the heart straight anyway, so it's kind of cool. Okay, well, thank you for joining me in this video. This was a short visit, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. So God bless and take care. Bye.